I wrote a story called The Aftershock, which was originally called The Tremor, but I realized that it's not called a tremor, it's called an aftershock. This thing has 223 words, which deserves an award because it's a 223-word children's book. So, once upon a time, there was this big, giant earthquake that just shook the world absolutely amazingly. Like, the world had never known anything like it. But people had no idea what to call the smaller quakes after the earthquake, so there were these smart, sciencey guys that were all like, what is this thing? I don't know what to call it. But there was an average person off the street that just said, hey, let's call this thing an aftershock. So the humanity calls it an aftershock. But humanity was not the only person that benefited from knowing that it was called an aftershock. The aftershock now knew, I am an aftershock. So the aftershock decided to go to a temple where it learned from the greatest master earthquake ever. It was a 9.2 magnitude earthquake, the 1964 Great Alaskan Earthquake, just saying. It was right there. So they decided to train. He did wax on, wax off, he painted the fence, and he sanded the floor. This earthquake was basically the Mr. Miyagi of earthquakes. So when his training was nearly complete, he decided that it was time to move to California. But before he could go to California, he had to find somewhere to live. So he got on his laptop and started looking for places to live on fault lines in California. He found a big fault line, so he said, you know what? That's where I'm going. So he moved to that fault line, where he spent a long time waiting. And then one day he said, you know what? It's time. I'm ready to shake. So he began to shake. He gave everything he had to that shake. But sadly, it didn't go well.
Friends in the